I'm just gonna. We can talk about the event now while you're on the podcast in case anyone wants to come
Oh
to
yeah,
it.
yeah.
You
We
know,
start plugging things straight
you
away.
start
That's how
plugging
we freaking
things
roll
straight
with
away.
it.
You know, um, I before actually. So obviously we're gonna get into we'll try and cover as many topics as we can. Obviously, men's body image, fitness culture, eating disorders, ADHD, anxiety, depression. We definitely won't get through like any of them things. But I wanted to read you something. So as I was kind of prepping for this, well, like half prepping for this,
Yeah.
I was going through I was going through articles for like men struggling with body image issues, and I wanted to read you something and let me know if you can relate to this or resonate to this at all, right? So, a few years ago, I stood in front of the bathroom mirror feeling defeated. I had just finished another grueling workout, the kind you do more out of guilt than joy. I stared at my reflection, pinching my stomach, flexing my arms, silently tallying all the ways I didn't measure up to the images I saw online. I was supposed to feel strong and confident. Instead, I felt like a fraud. I didn't talk about it. Men don't usually. We're taught to tough it out, to stay quiet, to be strong. But behind the forced humour and the casual shrugging off of body jokes, many of us carry deep shame about how we look. While sermons and small group discussions often focus on women's struggles with body image, men's silent battle is rarely addressed, despite research suggesting a growing epidemic. A Chapman University study found that 40% of men are dissatisfied with their appearance. Another survey by a very well mind revealed that nearly 30% of men experience body image anxiety, and around 11% have suicidal thoughts related to their appearance. The numbers are staggering, and most people don't talk about it.
Well, yeah, 100% relate to that.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I was only did I go up to Galway there last Friday and I was going for a swim and it popped into my head randomly, 2008, going on a 6 year holiday with the lads and like even noticed that like how uncomfortable you'd be even around your closest people. And I think it was where we went to Portugal or something like that. And I think there was one day the lads wanted to go do something, and I was like, "Oh, I'm not really feeling it. I'm gonna just hang around here," and I left them go off.
Mm,
It was so I could literally lounge around the pool, have a swim, literally tan myself, like like that. And it was I didn't want anyone to be around. Like
mm,
we talked about this before, how many years or how many different memories were completely changed based on not doing something you enjoy because of how you feel about your body. And like it was funny that it randomly popped in my head driving to Galway, and I was just like, right, if this is what you're thinking about now, you're probably gearing up to talk to yourself about not going for a swim, just the way you're feeling. And like someone said to me recently, they were like, well, you've dealt with your body images. I haven't. I was like, I manage them.
mm.
It's not going away. Like, it's not going away. They're deep rooted in there that I have tools I can use to try to move past it. Like, that half an hour in the sea last Friday was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I haven't had my brain turn off in a long time in the last while outside of that 30 minutes. And like that's the thing is I could have stopped. Like I went to the gym beforehand. I could have just said, go to the gym, go do something in Galway, come home, leave it. And it would have changed my entire day. Like it did give me a sense of peace afterwards. And we've talked about swimming and different stuff with other people. Even my friend said it on at the weekend. I'm good at it. Surprisingly, especially my size. Like I was good at it when I was younger, but like my size, you don't expect me to be strong in the water. It's the only place I feel weightless. I think I described it to someone once, maybe a month ago, that I was like, it's the only place I don't feel like I'm drowning, which is kind of freaking a bit dark. But for that brief moment of taking off your dry robe or taking off your clothes and walking from the edge into the water, that's the brief moment where there's anxiety around body image. Soon as you get, it's gone.
Once you're in the sea, it's gone.
It's gone. It's gone. Just switch. You forget. Completely forget about it. And I have been thinking about the more I go that I'm like, it's my own head. It's Frank. It's our inner troll. It's Frank. It's always Frank. It's you stop doing things you enjoy because of how you feel about your body, and it's sad. Like,
Do you know what? Do you know what that reminded me of? I think I can't remember who I was talking to this about on the podcast a while ago, but they were speaking about body image issues, and in particular men, but men and women. And then I think we went into the conversation of body image issues, body dysmorphia in sport. And I remember he was talking about how it's funny that a lot of like athletes, like when they're playing their sport, they're really, really confident in their body, like how their body moves, how their body looks, all that stuff. And then the minute they're outside of that sport in a different environment, maybe that's on a night out or maybe out with their friends, especially like women athletes who are like quite athletic and strong,
yeah.
and maybe they feel strong and they feel athletic and they feel muscular in a positive light when they're doing the thing that they're supposed to be doing, and then the minute they get out of that, then it's like, oh no, I'm too muscular, I'm too athletic and stuff like that. I think it's funny when you described how like once you're in the water, once you're performing, you don't have them body image issues, but it's the getting in as well.
It's your safe space.
Yeah.
Like I've gotten to a point now, like she's like, we work online. People are going to comment about your body all the time. It's never ending. I'm in a different place when it comes to that. But I would say years ago, off the field, rugby field, off the field, someone might call you a fat bastard or say something like that, and it would hit you. May not hit you straight away. You might have to like until you're on your own, then you might start thinking about it. On the rugby field, someone said it to you, and it's like, yeah, but I'm going to run over you now. You know, I was like, there's a reason why I'm playing this sport. I was not built for badminton. I'm going to be carrying extra pounds. I was only talking to people about rugby earlier. I'm like, you're a forward for a reason. You know, you are carrying that extra bit of weight. But like, it is that idea on the field or in the water. There's something going on in your brain that just makes you feel safe. And I think it's the confidence behind you're good at it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what someone says because you can just remind yourself, well, I'm actually good at what I'm doing. So how I look doesn't matter.
Yeah, and it's also reinforcing that thing that we always say all the time in regards to like improving your body image is like focusing on what your body can do versus what it looks like. And like that's the prime example of when it's in motion of doing what it's basically made to do, whether it's like bashing into people in rugby or swimming or whatever it is. It's like when you're in that zone or that kind of flow state, it's like nothing else matters because like it's doing what it's originally meant to do. But I suppose like once you're out of that environment, that's when the real battle starts to be had with each person.
That's where you have to do the work.
Yeah.
You know, for that, so because it's fine feeling good when you're confident. It's easy to deal with that. It's the same as like doing exercise in the gym. We all love the exercises we're good at.
Yeah.
Then it comes to doing the exercise we're not great at.
Yeah, I don't like that exercise. That's a crap exercise.
No, we're shit. I don't like it. It doesn't work for me. You know, it's all for that reason. It's the same idea. Like I still get that little pang of anxiety when I go to the beach. Still get it. And I think I did a podcast there a while back and we were talking about swimming and I went to, it was a triathlon event and a super try or something. And like the guy was probably, I'd say maybe 10, 15 plus kilos lighter than you'd be, right? And he was standing beside me. He was just looking at me. And I'm obviously in my budgies because I'm like, at least I can laugh about it. And he's in his full wetsuit. And he's like, are you sure you're in the right event? And I was like, yeah, it's a sprint try. And he was like, and you're definitely in this. And I was like, I didn't say anything, but in my head, I was like, I know what you mean. I don't look like I belong here. Fair enough. I didn't look like a greyhound getting into the water. But simplest part of my day was the swim. Simplest. And that's the one I know in triathlons most people struggle with is the swim. And it goes back to that is it's your opinion of yourself. I could have let that guy ruin my day. You know, maybe years ago I probably would have been like, do I actually want to go in there? Do I actually want to do it? Like I stopped doing loads of things like that, going on weekends away with the lads, beach there. Everyone would ask, why aren't you going surfing? Why aren't you going for a swim? Like, oh, I'm not feeling it. Don't really want to. And it was quite simply, do not want to take my clothes off because I'm worried about what someone might say about me, even though no one's going to do it,
No.
especially not in that group.
Yeah.
No one's.
Isn't it funny though? It's usually like I know there is times when like people will just be assholes and they'll just say stuff, and sometimes it's out of ignorance and sometimes it's out of just hate, and it might be hate because they hate themselves, so they feel like they need to bring someone else down. But a lot of the time, like all the horrible things that we're thinking about, or the things that we're thinking about ourselves, like it's literally just us that is preventing us from doing the thing, whether that's like wearing the pair of shorts or wearing the t-shirt or whatever it is.
And like we focus so like this is why you always tell people no one cares what you're doing because everyone's so focused on themselves. And like I remember another time in Galway coming out of the sea with a mate who would probably be about
Mm.
half my weight. And I remember walking out of the sea and I'm like, oh, you can feel how solid and large you are, especially beside someone who's
Mm.
lean as hell. And then he turned to me at one point and he was like, will you just relax a little bit? And I was like, what you mean? He was like, you're walking out like this out of the sea. And I was like, that's just how I look. And I remember we talked about it. Myself and my brother used to joke about their family. We're like, if we could get your genetics for a couple of months, we'd be Greek fucking gods. And then he's on the other side of it going, I feel small.
Mm.
He's conscious about his size. Both different ends of the scale. He wants to be bigger. I wanted to be smaller at the time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought he had any issues
Yeah.
back then.
Yeah. And that also goes to like show as well. So yeah, it's like you're like, oh, I wish I had his physique, and he's sitting there like, I wish I had that person's physique, or like everyone's kind of just chasing what they don't have or what they feel that they're lacking. And I think that's like, isn't that like a big perception of like body image issues? It's like people think that, all right, if you're in great shape, that you must not have body image issues. Like they look at someone that they are like, oh, I would love to look like that person, and they don't realize that that person probably suffers with more body image issues as well, because they might be, they might be just hyper focused on how they look all the time, because like that might be the only value that they perceive to give the world, whether it's like, the girl that's fucking, taking the picture of her glutes and she's getting loads of validation and loads of likes and loads of attention from that, so therefore like she needs that, you know what I mean? Or whatever it is. It's like the lad who's like absolutely jacked, but he feels small and like he has this kind of muscle dysmorphia, because like his value to the world is how he looks. So therefore he puts a bigger emphasis on how he looks, and therefore he's far more critical about his body all the time. So like, even though from the outside it looks like these people are in incredible shape, it must be nice. Like you're thinking of that from like looking at them from a genetic standpoint, or just looking at them from like an envious standpoint, but not realizing they probably are not very happy. They're probably like at war with themselves constantly, and I think
You
that's the perception that we don't get.
you have no understanding of what someone else's demons are until they tell you. And like I look back at maybe between 2016 2017, I was 2017 I did escort for Rosa Tralee. And I remember the big win was being able to get a suit off the rack in Zara.
Yeah.
And I remember everyone talking about what great shape you were in, you're looking great, blah, blah, blah. And it was always compliments about how you looked and stuff. I spent a year and a bit doing fasting, 1,200 calorie days. My mental health was in the bin. I was partying to forget about stuff. I ended up developing an eating disorder, and that's why. That's why I was that lean. I think I spent 8 months of that year and a bit not making one bit of progress in a gym or on a field or anything like that. There was no progression, but you look good in a suit.
Mm,
I was fucking miserable then, and no wonder then after it was done, I literally couldn't maintain what I was doing.
yeah.
And but it is the idea that everyone saw you looking a certain way, and like, don't get me wrong, I look at those photos sometimes. I'm like, oh, you handsome fucking bastard, like, and then I remind myself like, You were miserable and you
Yeah.
couldn't even keep food down.
Yeah. And I think it's also worth noting as well that that's one picture in a whole time. Like it's like even if you feel like you looked good in that suit then, or like it's the same as like do you know when like women will look back on pictures of them when they were like 10 kilos lighter, but it was also like 10 years ago when like they
Tan's done, perfect fit and dress, your
yeah.
dog
And
for a
they're like,
certain
oh, if I looked like that again, I'd be happy. But then if they actually went back in time and remembered, they actually were miserable back then, and they were constantly thinking about how they looked like. And it's like you actually never really give a fair representation of like when you look back in that time in your life and say, well, actually, was I really happy then, or am I just like am I just
that's
taking that one moment in time, that one picture, and then prescribing that to the rest of my life?
you definitely do this. Like I do with clients that the odd time, especially when they're starting out, they pull up a photo and it will be that they'll go like, if I can just get back to that, blah blah. And I always just go, were you happy?
Yeah,
And there's this pause. There's always this pause, and you know what's coming because I've lived it. I've dealt with other clients with it as well, and it's never a yes.
yeah,
Never a yes. You were doing things you didn't enjoy doing. You were starving yourself. You weren't even when you looked that way, you weren't happy in it at the moment.
yeah, yeah. And that's the issue, isn't it? And it's not like we're like pushing people away from like losing weight if they want to lose weight. And do you know what I mean? Like not all weight loss is going to be bad weight loss. Like, do you know what I
No.
mean? But a lot of the time when we are talking about these body image issues and we're talking about disordered eating, like a lot, and what people don't understand. It's never about the body and it's never about the food. It's about these disordered thoughts that you have about it. Like it's like it makes me think about that. You always see it like on a sitcom or something, where or just like a traditional Irish family. It's like the little girl or the teenage girl is on a diet or something, and she's like, oh no, I can't eat this, I'm on a diet. And then the auntie or something would turn around and say, no, there's not a pick on you, what are you talking about, and all. And like I'd love to be as skinny as you or something like that. And it's like they don't get that. Like it's not about actually what they weigh. It's like it's their perception about
Right.
what they weigh, or it's their perception about how they look. And like you can't fix that with a calorie deficit. You know what I
Oh,
mean? Unfortunately, you can't
um,
fix how you feel about how you look with a calorie deficit.
it's it's never going to be enough if you don't change your headspace on it.
Mm,
And I've been there. I can say that I was at a point where there was moments where I'm like, fucking class, right? We're making it. It was what, 90 kilos maybe? 90 was, but I could run, I could lift heavy. I'd gotten lighter before, but like it was just running all the time and under eating with an X, and like it was a bad way to do it. And that led to obviously doing that stint and getting that eating disorder. But I was never happy.
mm,
Never, no matter what progress I made, it was, well, you could do more of this. This could be gone a little bit more. It could be tied here. And it got to a point where I'd gone down to Rose of Tralee, and obviously, like with the photos and stuff, I was like, all right, yeah, grand. But then I looked back on about a week before being in the gym and be like, I'm weak as shit and I haven't done any fucking progression in 8 months. I need that back.
yeah.
It's like you're always gonna find a new goal to add on until you accept, your body does great things regardless of its size.
So here's a question then, right? So there's people probably listening to this and like, look, listen, that's great and all, but I actually do want to lose weight, and
Yeah.
I know I'll feel better if I lose weight. But like, how do I get around the urge and the ambition and the want to lose weight without almost losing myself and in the process, and you know trying to be content, because like I think that's what a lot of people want. It's like they want to lose weight so they can feel confident, and yet a lot of the times you lose weight and you feel even less confident because you're just more hyper focused and self conscious in yourself.
Yeah.
And
I
it just becomes a vicious cycle for people, doesn't it?
I do get that. Like I think I was talking on social media there last week about I want to go into a fat loss phase. I think I'm actually at a point now where with my food relationship, with my headspace around that stuff, that I think I'm okay, that it won't take over my life, it won't take control. And I'm all for people having aesthetic goals.
Mm-hmm.
If you like, great, great. If you focus on performance, and I know people hate the whole slow and steady, there is no way you won't get closer to your goal if you focus on that rather than, I'm going to starve myself for as long as possible.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to overtrain myself for as long as possible until it all falls apart. And then I don't do it again for weeks. Then I feel shit again. And then I do it again and I feel shit again. And I go over and back, over and back. And it's the reason why 6 to 8 week shreds sell, because everyone thinks it's going to be 8 weeks and it'll all be feckin' sorted. And like most people, when they do that stuff, they last 4 to 6 weeks. And then something comes up, an event, and they're like, right, I've starved myself the day before going to this event, a wedding or something that's on there. I fit into my dress. I'm going to unleash hell now on this weekend, and I haven't really made huge progress upstairs. So then you bully yourself after overeating, over drinking, not exercising for a few days after because you're hungover. Realize then the routine you built of 5, 6 days a week of doing something intense, plus your low calorie diet and cutting out everything you like, you can't do it anymore.
Mm.
But then you're upset with yourself that you can't do it.
Mm.
And it is the like all for people having aesthetic goals, but if it's going to damage your mental and physical health, it is not worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the problem is that when people are desperate for change, they end up making desperate choices or desperate decisions. And that desperate decision could be, all right, I'm going to starve myself because I need to lose as much weight. I need to lose as much weight as quickly as possible because then I will feel happy. Because right now
Yeah.
I'm feeling awful in myself. And while that sounds like it might make sense, logical A to B, that's not really it, because a lot of the times it's like, yeah, you might feel a little bit better if you lose a little bit of weight, but you might also feel a little bit better if you start prioritizing yourself a little bit more, if you start training and feeling healthier and maybe eating some vegetables and drinking some water and maybe getting to bed a little bit earlier and maybe stop going on the session all the time, maybe stop having a come down every week, maybe like, do you know what I mean, stop hanging around with toxic people who are making you feel like shit, or stop fighting with your partner because you don't come home on a Sunday because you're out drinking or whatever it is. It's like, maybe start prioritizing like health seeking behaviors and things that are like filling up your cup. And weight loss is probably going to be a byproduct of that anyway, without you having to like, isn't it so funny, like the paradox of like, yeah, don't focus on the thing you want and you usually get the thing that you want.
Well, it's unless it's the ultimate hardship, it won't work. I think we made some mango blueberry morning oats thing ages ago, right? It was like eating a dessert every morning. You're talking 45 odd grams of protein, 3 types of fruit, your bit of carb, and it was just fucking yum in a jar.
Mm.
I gave it to my dad one day. And I was like, here, look, try this. He was working outside and he took it away and he came back and he was like, geez, that's unbelievable. And I was like, yeah, yeah. And he was like, it can't be good for you. And I was like, why not? And he was like, well, there has to be something. And I was like, blueberry, mango, bit of strawberry, oats, I think some fucking milk or Greek yogurt, something. It's like something along those lines. But it was instant. If it's good and you enjoy it, it's never going to help you.
Yeah, you have to suffer, you're right.
That's the mentality we've been brought into.
Yeah. And that's why people can never actually stick at it, is because they think that, like you're associating diet with restriction, when like we both know that like diet comes from the Greek word which means a way of life. So your diet needs to be a way of life. It's like, I eat like this all the time, not because I'm trying to suffer or because I'm trying to restrict, because this is life and life is about nourishment and enjoyment. And so I'm going to eat in a way that makes me content and makes me happy. And like that also means like having vegetables and having, you know, protein and having fiber and having complex carbohydrates and healthy fats and things that actually give you energy, and you feel better after you're eating them. So then you're actually, it's your perception around the food, right? It's your perception around the behaviors. It's like, I'm eating this Greek yogurt with fruit and honey and chia seeds, not because I'm on a diet and because I need to lose weight and I hate how I look. I'm eating it because it gives me energy and I feel good, and now I can really like attack the day and really make the most out of my day. This is the way of life that I want to live. And like,
my body needs this stuff.
yeah, it's just it's the exact same action, but it's just a different perception around it. And which one is gonna serve you best? Which one are you gonna stick to? The one where I need to eat this Greek yogurt because I'm on a diet and I need to restrict because I hate myself, or I'm gonna eat this Greek yogurt because it makes me feel good and it gives me energy and I love having energy so I can have a great day and enjoy my life. You know?
Well, I think was I out at the weekend and I put up a picture of a slice of pizza and a burger, and I think if you saw my story earlier in the day, my dad had put on a big spread for the Lions game. There's so much protein on the plate. Like I wanted a vegetable. I think the only thing that was there was pineapple, and I was like, I wouldn't mind having something mixed in just to make this a little bit better for me. But I was like, right, not the worst thing if I'm going to be going, you know, drinking a few pints later on. And my mom, I actually think my mom said it to me. She's like, "You're always putting up a picture of this food or, you know, a pint and stuff for that." And I was like, well, no one gives a fuck that I was here at 6 o'clock eating a bowl of strawberries just because I wanted to get a bit of fruit in. I was like, I'm sure, like for me, it's healing the food relationship that I can eat these things and it's okay. Especially, I always find a burger is the funniest one. Um, Lean red meat, lettuce, tomato, onion, little bit of cheese. All sounds great. You slap a piece of bread on either side, and all of a sudden, it's the worst thing you could ever have. I don't get it. It's like Sambos. I used to always say to someone, I was like, there is a good. I know we don't talk about good and bad food, but there is a there is a great Sambo, and there is a shit Sambo. Right? A shit Sambo is when your bread is thicker than your filling.
Mm-hmm.
You should be making a
100%.
sandwich or a wrap or something where someone at home is looking at you going, are you going to leave anything else for the rest of us?
Yeah.
And it's why, like, I've had clients that, like, they simply changed having, I think they used to have like a soup and a sambo at lunch, and they had two. They'd have two sandwiches. And I'm like, we're not cutting out bread. But I'm like, why don't you put everything in one of them into the other? Get rid of that. I think, like, you might save 180 odd calories in and around there. You do that 5 days a week, all of a sudden you have 1,000 calorie deficit, and you haven't made the meal shit. You enjoy it more.
And imagine having a ham sandwich and only putting one slice of ham in there. What the fuck? And then people are like, oh, why am I still hungry and why am I raiding the press? Because you've had one slice of ham in that ham sandwich. You've had more white bread than the sandwich. Slap the whole packet in there and then another packet.
You've seen my recipes and stuff on my page. I've got sambos that are like 800 calories, but they got like 70 grams of protein.
Yeah,
and I always compare it to like your pre-made sandwich you'll buy in a shop, the little cardboard pack. Anywhere between 400, 550 calories, maybe 25 grams of protein. So I'm getting about 50 extra grams of protein for 200 odd calories more.
Yeah.
I'm done eating after it.
100%. You're not gonna be snacking throughout the day with a sandwich like that.
Sometimes I'm lying halfway on my island just going, oh Jesus. I'm like, let's just get the small little triangle in and we're done until we get to dinner time.
And that's the big mistake that people actually make when they go for this like restriction, and they need to be as light as they can, and they need to go on a weight loss phase or whatever. And they're like, oh my God, I couldn't have an 800 calorie sandwich. That's far too much. Like, that's my fucking calories for the day. I was like, what? No, it's not. You try to have like a fucking 200 or 300 calorie lunch. The only thing that's going to happen is you are going to crash at the end of the day, and then you are going to start to overeat, and you are going to start to raid the presses, and you're going to feel like shit about yourself, and all the guilt and the shame is going to start to come into play, and you're like, oh, why do I have no willpower? And like, well, like there's two things going on. First, you know, we're not dealing with the emotional hunger, and then we're also not dealing with the physical hunger. And the physical hunger is you're having this little scabby sandwich instead of having a proper meal.
And I've done it with clients. Like I have a client recently. I think he started with me maybe back in March or something, and I put him on. He's a rugby lad now, so like he's a big boy, like you know, and I quite enjoy working with some of the rugby lads because I'm like, you know, the food thing is always a big thing because like especially if you're a forward, you want to lean down, you want to get that little bit lighter to move around, but it goes back to well, if you're starving yourself to try to improve your performance on a field, well, the performance isn't going to improve. You're going to feel shit, and you're never going to make any progress. So I think I put him on 3,000 calories. And he was like, for ages, he was like, this is the most I've ever eaten when I'm trying to like lean out. He's dropped, I think, the bones of 8 to 10 kilos
Yeah.
and not struggling with it,
No.
not worried about it. He has had weekends away, holidays, different stuff on weddings, on different things like that, going into a shop and he's just like, oh, I really want this. And then he's like, well, actually, I can get that and I can get something else.
Yeah, yeah.
One
Because
thing that's
you're
going to
you're
work.
you're being intentional, and that's like like that's I've noticed that as well. It's like, and I always say this. I always say this to clients. It's like eat more to lose more, and I don't mean like obviously do you know what I mean? It's like it's how you're designing your meal now. It's like you're going for like foods that are high in protein, high in fiber. There's usually a lot of food volume on the plate, you know, and therefore like you're eating a load of food and you're under your calories and you're losing weight, and it's like you're sticking to a bit of a routine as well, which I find a lot of people don't have. It's like they skip breakfast, they have a scabby lunch, they might have dinner when they get home, and then like they're starving at the end of the day, and they go for these kind of calorie dense, delicious treats that rack up the calories throughout the day. So you're not really eating food. You're not eating a lot of food, but you're eating a lot of calories. And then you're just trying to flip that. Right, let's eat like regular meals with loads on the plate and loads of color, and you're gonna feel like you're eating more than ever you have before. But your average calories are probably gonna reduce.
Now, like if I'm doing, like, I don't want to say if I'm doing it right, but if I'm doing my day routine that will help me actually lose fat and keep me ticking through the day,
Yeah.
the meals are massive. Meals are massive. I used to kind of midday, then later on in the evening because I enjoyed snacking, and then like obviously with my meds and stuff, it changes how I eat. So like I eat a bigger meal now in the morning. I have to eat something light at lunch because I just can't actually eat it.
Mm-hmm.
And then my dinners are big, and like I put up a dinner there the other day. It was two feckin' steaks, a big kind of tub of like a beetroot carrot mix you get in Aldi, load of rocket and a bit of couscous. And I knew for a fact when I put it up in my story, I was like, my mother's gonna be like, that dinner's way too big. And I'm like, you're 5 foot and weigh nothing. And I was like, I'm 120 kilos and trying to not destroy my press in an hour's time. And but people look at those meals and like, Jesus, I couldn't eat that. I'm like, right, well then take off one steak.
Mm.
Reduce the bit of couscous. The veg isn't the problem there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's not the thing you need to be getting rid of off your
Yeah.
plate.
I
Uh,
think I think it does. Yeah, it's relevant to each person, but I think the big thing is, uh, people are terrified of eating proper meals and eating food, and because again, it's this thing where it's like they're desperate for change because they haven't dealt with the internal work, and then they're going to war with food and going to war with their bodies and being like punishing their bodies by telling themselves that they can't have X, Y, and Z. Like they can't have a fucking sandwich with three fillings of ham in it.
yeah.
Like that's the issue. That's not the issue. The issue is probably what's going on internally.
Put
That's
a
difficult.
slice of put a slice of ham, one slice of ham in between a piece of bread and hand it to me, and
Yeah.
that would probably make me break down. That'd be a sad fucking day. Like so, I go to delis and the thing they'd make you could batter someone to death with the thing, like but you're full.
I wanted to ask you because you actually touched on it there, and in terms of body image, right? In terms of like, because we're talking about how like, all right, doing the work around your body image and trying to accept yourself while also pursuing progress in whatever way you want and stuff like that. And I think the misconception is like once you understand this stuff that you don't struggle with it anymore. Which, and like you said, it's not a thing that you just fixed. It's something that you're working with all the time. Do you find that it's more difficult for you now that you work in the fitness industry, or do you think it's the same?
Um, I think it's better for me with the place I'm in now
Hmm.
with that side of stuff. Like someone will always comment. Someone will always comment. You post a video, someone always comments on something. I'm like, right, you obviously have nothing better to do with your life. You know, and it goes to the idea of, you know, you never take advice from someone you wouldn't want to be in their position.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of idea. And I'm like, I remember when I first started going to do the gym and stuff, and it was off the back of rugby coaching abroad. I only came back to do an S&C course, and I was going to leave again. And I got into it here, and then I decided I was like, you know what, I'm gonna actually start coaching everyone, Gen Pop and stuff. And someone had said to me like, "Are you fit enough to coach people?" And I'm like, "Well, like, how many coaches in the world coach pro athletes that couldn't do half the shit they do?"
Mm.
It's about understanding how to do it. I've coached runners, and yes, I've made the mistake of signing up for a 10K at the end of September, start of October with a client. And it's not that like I won't be able to do it. I won't like it. I won't like I'll run 10K in a rugby field, hitting things, grand, but just sitting there with your own brain, thinking about things. I'm like, it sounds like a terrible idea, but like I'm gonna go off on a tangent. But like, uh, it's easier for me now.
Hmm.
It's easier for me now, but that doesn't mean I don't have to work on it.
Yeah.
And I always go back when I say to people, I'm like, 100 people could compliment you. One person says something negative.
Hmm.
Generally, we hold on to the one negative.
Yeah.
That's obviously not the truth. 100 people aren't lying to you.
Mm.
You know, there might be a few, but like, you know, like, no, you're going to play with numbers there. But like, we always hold on to that negative side. So like, if I leave every comment that comes in when I post something, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now.
Mm.
Do you know what?
Do you,
Even outside of the job.
do you think that there's a pressure in the fitness industry still too? Because I think we might be in a little bit of a bubble or a little bit of an echo chamber in terms of we know a lot of kind of great coaches who
Totally.
talk about the importance of healing your relationship with food and body image, um, and I suppose that means that there's probably less pressure for them type of coaches to show up a certain way. But do you think, like in the fitness industry in general, that a lot of coaches still feel like they need to look a certain way in order to be successful with their business?
Of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like we are in a bubble. Like I was talking to Jane, who you know earlier, and she was talking about the event and stuff, and she was like, these are the types of people that we wanted in the fitness industry.
Mm-hmm.
They're not the ones you expect when
Mm.
you go to see it. They're not like it is a bubble. It is a smaller bubble. It is growing. It's a growing bubble. But I do feel like I felt it at the start. I didn't get jobs because of the way I looked.
Mm.
I was definitely more qualified than the people that were in there already. But you know, I think that I have maybe nine different interviews for different gym jobs until I decided to just do it myself.
Yeah.
Do it myself. And don't get me wrong, I would have liked to have been on a big gym floor, working in a gym for a while and kind of, get that little experience. But at the same time, it would have just slowed me down getting to where I am now. But like I do find that people do get that pressure. You do have to look a certain way. And like before I injured my shoulder in 2023, I was very happy body image, but also my actual aesthetics and performance. I was starting to move towards where I wanted to go. I destroyed my shoulder and I did gain weight and that went on. But funnily enough, that didn't actually affect me.
Mm.
I had one arm trying to coach people how to do a shoulder press. I managed to grow my business doing that. I managed to teach people how to do exercise that I physically couldn't do. So yes, my performance went down in what I could do. I gained a bit of weight, but what I was able to do was so much bigger than all of that.
Mm.
And like even now, like I'm still only getting back into certain types of training and fall in love with it. And there was a brief moment where I was like, right, maybe we do need to relax on the pints and the eating out and look after my health a little bit. But it wasn't from I need this to get more clients.
Yeah.
I was like, I've had clients coming in regardless of what shape I was in.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is a huge pressure on people, but like that shouldn't be the thing that stops you from coaching someone if you have knowledge.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's a really important point that you made there. It's like, oh, well, maybe I should cut back on the beers and maybe I should, uh, like tidy up my lifestyle a little bit. But you're not doing it from a place of hate or from a place of shame or a place of judgment. You're doing it actually from a place of compassion for yourself. You're like, oh, well, actually, I don't feel as great as I would like to feel. So therefore, I'm going to just maybe pull back on this, and like it's not a big deal or anything like that. And I think that's really the difference, isn't it, between like being like, oh, I'm gonna cut my calories a little bit or whatever it is. It's like it's the intent or the mindset around the behavior change.
I wanna run that bit faster. I want to
Mm.
perform that bit more in the gym. I like
Do you know what a good example of this is actually? All right, when I was younger, I used to find it very difficult to say no to. I would say I'm definitely not going out this weekend. I'm definitely not going out this weekend. And then it would come Friday, and like I felt like shit all week, and I had to come down, and I was fucking dying. And it would come to Friday, and I would have a drink, and then boom, before I know it, it's Monday morning or Tuesday morning, and I'm walking home, and the birds are chirping, and I smell of bonfire and everything else, and it's like, oh no, how did this happen again? Like how, like, because I was trying to stop myself from doing these things, but I had nothing. I didn't have anything to replace it that was meaningful or purposeful for me, right? Whereas now, as I'm older, and I have a business to run, and I have responsibilities, and I have passion projects and stuff like that, for me to stay in on a Friday night or to say no to a drink is so easy. It's so easy. And the reason is because I know I have to get up on Saturday and do X, Y, and Z, and I want to do X, Y, and Z, or I know I want to feel fresh for Sunday so I can prep for the week ahead, whatever's going on. And it's like, I think when you have something more meaningful than the thing that you're trying to do, it makes it easier. And where I'm getting at this is like you trying to lose weight just for the sake of losing weight because you've been conditioned to believe that you need to lose weight from diet culture and diet messaging, and then you're always trying to be on this diet, and then you're saying to yourself you've no willpower. Like I say, I have no willpower in terms of saying no to a drink, but it's because I have nothing more important in my life at the moment anyway. Whereas like if you're saying no to, or if you're like deciding to clean up your diet or to eat more protein or better quality carbohydrates because you have this like half marathon that's really important to you, or you're trying to get this performance in your powerlifting competition or whatever it is, it's like the pull of that is a lot stronger to improve your nutrition than the pull of I just need to lose weight because I've been told I need to lose weight, or I need to be on a diet because everybody's on a diet, and isn't that the thing that I'm supposed to do?
yeah, and like it goes both ways. Like if you have something that you want to work towards, it is easier to say no to doing those things, something
Yeah.
that matters. But I'd say like I would look at my week last week. Extra movement, extra gym sessions. Enjoyed the food I was eating, but it was also helping me move towards my goals. Saturday, I could have chosen not to go out for pints, not to have a slice of pizza, not have a burger. I wouldn't have met my mate and his wife that I haven't seen in over a year and
Mm.
their 8 month old. I wouldn't have seen my other friend and his wife that had their 4 year old out. And I was standing there with a pint of Guinness trying to explain chess to a 4 year old. And I was just like, yeah, I was like, if I avoided this, I wouldn't have had this interaction, this laugh. And I'm like, it's not in the grand scheme of things, that's not the thing that's going to destroy my progress
No.
if I work on other stuff around it.
Yeah, 100%.
If
And
I
I
lie
think
on the couch on Sunday and eat like a dickhead and don't go out for a walk, and then I do it again Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, and then just go, fuck it, it's almost the weekend and do it again. That's when
yeah.
that starts to fucking add up.
Yeah, I think, and that's when like there's a spectrum to this. It's like if you're saying yes to everything, and then that lifestyle is not conducive to how you want to feel. That's a problem. But then it's the opposite end of the thing. Is like if you're saying no to everything because you're hyper-obsessed about this goal that you feel is going to, oh, if I don't achieve this goal, then I have no self worth, and therefore I have to sacrifice everything else on the back of that, like family and friends and connection and experience. Like that is also a problem as well. So it's like it's really difficult to like tread that needle of okay,
Is a fine line.
yeah,
Is
yeah,
a fine line. Like I think I planned to go for a hike there maybe a month ago on a Sunday. There's a nice hike out in the Galties and there's a lake up there. And I was like, I'm going for a swim. I'm like getting up 6 in the morning, have my lunch ready, off I go, do the hike. And I think I was watching a game with my dad and he was like, "Will we go for a couple of pints?" And I was just like, fuck. So I was like, no, I don't get hungover, so I don't have to worry about that. But I was like, I can't say no to him.
mm,
I was like, I don't want to talk about them being old and thinking about all that side of it. I'm like, but it's nice to go for a pint with my dad
yeah,
and actually get some great chats, and different stuff. And you actually get to talk about things.
and,
I didn't need to have 6, 7 pints with him and the local butcher and someone else. And I think I was talking to, was it Anna Harris? I was talking to Anna at about half, I think she was off the back of nights or something like that. And I was there 1:30 in the morning cooking chicken. And she was like, what? She was like, how many pints do you have? And I was like, "Oh, about 6 or 7." She's like, are you eating? I was like, no, no, this is for my Sambo because I'm going on this hike. I don't care. And yeah, not hungover. Hike was great. Went up. Ah, it was so nice to come home at 4 o'clock in the evening the next day, knowing that yes, I didn't need the drinks, but it didn't stop me from doing the thing I really needed to do.
yeah, 100%.
You know?
And also, you have to think about it like this as well. It's like there's a difference between you going for pints with your dad and you going for with pints with your dad every single day, every day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
No.
it's like if these things are a little bit rare as well, it's like why would you say no to them? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
this similar thing is like, all right, maybe you shouldn't. There's nothing wrong with pizza. Isn't bad for you, but probably having pizza every single day for every single day without having anything else, it's probably not going to be conducive to your goals because you're not getting enough protein. You're probably consuming excess calories, and that's probably contributing to weight gain, which is making you feel uncomfortable. So it's like it's not that the pizza is bad, but excess of anything
Yeah.
is probably an issue, and I think that's where people kind of miss the forest for the trees with that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Like if you were to base how I eat off a little chunk of my Instagram
Exactly,
stories,
exactly. Yeah,
you'd be like, oh, geez, like that pizza, burger, and pint. You'd be like, well, you can't be doing that now. Also, I'm like, well, I had a load of lean meat earlier in the day. I was eating fruit and veg and stuff in the middle of the day. And then I went and had that because I was like, I was fucking hungry.
yeah,
I was like, I needed something. Like, when I was like, I stopped myself from getting a whole pizza because there's one pizza they don't do by the slice. And I was just like, well, I don't need that. I definitely don't need to eat a whole pizza. So I was like, let's just get a burger, don't need chips, and give me a slice of pizza. Great.
it's like that old saying, and I think I remember there was a big fuss on social media about like Floyd Mayweather having a Big Mac meal or a Happy Meal or something like that, and I was like, it's that old saying. It's like one salad doesn't make you healthy and one McDonald's doesn't make you obese, and it's like context matters when it comes to your nutrition.
And that like that's it's always it's like the someone goes on a night out
Mm,
and they blame that kebab they had on the Saturday night, and it's like, well, you went over restrictive Monday to Thursday, you loosened up a bit Friday. Yes, you did this on Saturday. What did you do Sunday?
mm.
And I always find the Sunday was like, well, no, I'm not saying the Sunday is the only problem, like, but you put the two of them together. You can't just blame this one kebab you had
Yeah, yeah, it's
out of
crazy.
out of a whole week. So it's always like, John, that one slice of cake I had was definitely the thing that ruined everything. It's the reason I gained all this weight over the course of a week. So it's not the one slice of cake. It's not like
Talk to me about ADHD, because it seems like I've had. If it seems like the last five guests that I have had on, um, have
well,
ADHD, or just found out that they had ADHD and just got it diagnosed. And I was like, huh. A lot of the people who I know who are entrepreneurs, very
bullshit.
highly skilled, highly busy, highly successful people. It seems like they all have ADHD. What's going on there?
Well, like, so I think I said it in a talk I'd done for your clients before that I found out I had it, and I was like, it's not a fashion trend. Like
Hmm.
I'm 35. I thought I had it when I was like 14, 15, and I was just told like, no, you're too smart for that. You're just a little bit lazy. And I was like, all right, okay, fair enough. We'll ignore that for a while. And like, and then what? I got diagnosed February. January, February 2024, after being like spent like maybe a year and a bit looking into it. Went private. My first call with the doc, um, I think I asked her some kind of question about like, do you think, I think I said, do you think I have it? And she was like, oh, from like the survey and brief chat with you before this actual diagnosis, I most certainly think you have it. I was like, woo! I was like, great, we finally found what's going on. And I think like I was only talking to someone that got diagnosed there recently. Um, I think it's the idea that anytime you talk to someone about having it and you talk about the symptoms, everyone's like, "Oh, well, then I must have it too." And I'm like, "Well, you might, but like, you haven't been in my brain." Like I think a client one day inside in the gym was talking in a group session was saying, "Do any of you ever get that voice in your head that just keeps nattering away to you about different stuff?" And they all turned to me, and I was like, "Just the one." I was like, and they looked at me like I was nuts, and I was like, the amount of different thoughts going on in your head, the how long it takes you to get through your day, like the event, right? You've been at me over months about getting different stuff done. I still haven't, gotten like I should have planned. There was stuff I should have planned 2 months ago, and I was just like, but I want to do it. I fucking want to do it. It's the only thing I want to do. But there's just this weird trigger in your head. Now, I've gotten to a point now where I don't have enough time that if I don't keep doing the stuff as I go along over the next 10 weeks, I won't get it done. But it's hard to everyone's different with it. Like I have touches of OCD, I have touches of autism as well. Not as heavy on that, but like a huge weight was lifted when I found out I had it. Um, it helped me move forward with substances and different stuff like that. But I'm also then at the same time I'm on like 82 milligrams of amphetamines a day to level out my brain. And like people use give like I don't sleep well, never have. And everyone be like, oh, you need to do this, you need to stop drinking caffeine, after 3 o'clock and yada yada. And my Doc Evans was like, they don't know what they're talking about. Like I could drink 4 energy drinks and 2 espressos and I need to go take a nap.
Yeah, sorry, but I seen a meme on that yesterday, and I thought it was hilarious. I was gonna send it to you. It was like, if you've ever had a Colin Monster and fallen straight asleep, you probably have ADHD.
And like I think someone was talking about the medication before, and they were like, they'd gotten it off someone in college to help them concentrate. And they were like, were they on like 18 or 23 or something milligrams? And they were like, I was hopping off walls for the day. And they were like, you're on 82 and you think it's just about doing a job.
Mm.
Like it helps. It levels the head a little bit. When it's constantly working on it. Like I would like not to be on meds. Be nice to know like from my history of stuff. Like I'm on one brand I'm on is Concerta, the other brand I'm on is Ritalin. And with my substance history, they normally don't give Ritalin to people, because it's meant to be highly addictive.
Mm.
And I still laugh with my doctor about it being high. I probably shouldn't be saying this. Like, I don't think for me it's highly addictive because I set so many alarms to remind myself to take my meds, and my alarm will go off, and I might be here, and I'll press the button off. I'll stop, and I'm like, I'll just finish this for a second. All of a sudden, 45 minutes has gone by, and I'm like, shit, I forgot to take my meds. I might take them and I forget, did I take it? Did I not take it? Like in the gym with clients, this is how the brain works, and this might be a better insight to it. I'll write my program out on a notebook. I'll then write it up on the board. A client in one of the rooms will ask me what their reps or what the weight is, and I'll go in quickly to the other room, which is only like, 10 steps away. It's nothing mad. And I look at it and I'm like, right, I'll walk into the room. I've completely forgotten it. Can't remember. I've wrote it twice. I've looked at it only 10 seconds ago. I can't remember it. But I do a random pop-up session with multiple different people from different groups, different one-to-ones. I know all their numbers. I know them all off. All off. Like even your event, writing out all my cue cards and stuff beforehand and like writing everything out, looking at everything, couldn't remember anything. I remember them all now. They're stuck up there. Can't get rid of them now. Like I'm the worst person to have on a night out because I remember everything, no matter what I drink. Like that's the way the brain works. It doesn't work the way you want it to when you need it. Like chaos calms my brain.
What's the advantage of having ADHD, do you think? Is there?
I know people call it a superpower, and different stuff like that. Like I would joke like if you wanted me to get like a 3,000 word assignment done in the space of 4 to 6 hours, I could, but that would have been off the back of being able to do it for 2 weeks beforehand. That's um, dealing with literally stressful situations. It does bring an element of calm, that something creative way of working around something. I think also working with people, like I said it to someone else who has ADHD, and we have a joke that we tell each other our problems, and we joke now that it's our escape. So when they tell me their problems, it switches off everything going on in my head, and I'm like, okay, this is how I'm going to help you do this, and this is something you could do, and it's great. Then when they listen to my problems, they're like, yeah, I have nothing going on upstairs now. It's fantastic, and eh, working with people is quite easy. I quite enjoy it. It's like anyone dealing with problems and stuff, like it mellows my brain out. Um, Dealing with my own stuff is this stuff. Like we often joke in therapy. I'm like horribly self-aware, horribly self-aware. Working on certain stuff isn't that fucking easy. It would be great if it was, but like it's just chaos.
I have a couple of clients who have just recently been diagnosed, and I think they're kind of experimenting with different medications. I think some going well, some not going well. Do you have like experience on that? Of like, is it a case where it's like you're trying to find the right dosage, or is it
Yeah.
it's different? Yeah.
Normally they start with a light dosage. Now it depends. Like Concerta for me is, I was told, is for people that are more active. So obviously what I'm doing, it suits me. Probably the activity in my brain as well. So you start low dose and they slowly build it up. See how it's working. I think there was a shortage in what I normally get supplied with there maybe 2 months ago, and I got different medication wasn't cutting it, wasn't doing the same thing for me. It is trial and error. Like some medications mightn't suit you because of allergies, different stuff like that. It might take you time to like. I built up to a high dosage of Concerta, and then because I was doing so well, my doctor was like, "Well, I'm going to give you Ritalin now at lunchtime, and that should try to help you sleep a little bit."
Mm.
Um, I still think I'm working on with loads of stuff going over the last 9 months. I think I have another meeting in September. We're probably going to adjust them again.
Mm.
She'll decide that. It, it'd be nice not to have to spend a rake of money on coffee or energy drinks, but like at the same time, like the med side of it, I have a blood pressure monitor now that I check, and like religiously, my blood pressure was great, always great. Even when I was like, what, 23 and a half stone, they were shocked that my resting heart rate and my blood pressure was always fine.
Yeah.
Now it's elevated. I have to watch it now.
Is
A
that
little
from
bit.
the caffeine?
That's from the meds anyway.
From the meds. Okay.
It's the meds. So like it is a trial and error with that stuff. But I do like I always said I've been saying to people now lately, I'm like, be nice to yourself about it.
Mm.
Because I the odd time fall into the trap of looking back at different scenarios and be like, oh fuck, that was it. Like RSD is a big thing for me anyway. So it's rejection sensitivity disorder. So the way someone says something, their tone, the words they use, their body language, it throws you off. And
Yeah.
then you get in your own head, and it's the best way to describe is those like comedy murder sitcoms where someone will have red string going from every point. My entire room would be covered in strings, and that's what's inside my brain.
Hmm.
It's
What's it called again? Rejection what?
rejection sensitivity disorder, RSD.
Rejection sensitivity disorder. Does that mean so like let's say you're would that put you off, let's say like asking a girl for a number or something like that in case of the like worst case scenario kind of thing?
Yeah. Or like someone sends you a text message,
Yeah.
it's perfectly fine, but your interpretation of it.
Right, because you
So,
can't you can't you can't interpret the tone that there was said. I was like,
so,
yeah, yes with a full stop or no with a full stop. It's like
or an
that person
exclamation
hates
point.
me. They hate me.
Yeah, or like even like I do find the one like I often joke about with clients when I do my first consult. I'm always like, in the politest way possible, I want you to fuck off. If I've done my job to now, I've had clients for 3, 4 years, and like I would love everyone to get to a stage where they can say goodbye. Oh my God, it's awful.
Mm.
Oh my, like I met a client today for an ex-client for coffee there. Like they're friends. Like we've gone to weddings together, like going to birthday parties next week and stuff like that. And like one of them started crying as they're saying like John goodbye, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna see you again. And then they kept crying. I was like, you're gonna make me cry. It was horrible, like Joe. And then I came in and I read the little card they gave me, and I was like, I was actually depressed. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was depressed that I did my job.
Yeah. That's why I'm like, oh, I don't want you to have to need me, but I want you to want to stay. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So you can
I think I
stay,
said
you can stay forever, but I'm not gonna guilt trip you into staying forever, or I'm not gonna not give you the tools to be able to do it on your own.
I said it to someone recently. I was like, I need to build my big warehouse gym
Yeah,
so they'll never leave me.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Just be
Yeah.
fucking easier.
Okay.
But like, yeah, it's like I'm still learning about it. You
Is
know,
there is there can I ask a question? Is there a correlation between like depression and anxiety and ADHD? Do you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
Like I have both.
Mm.
Like I think what did I say to some people? It was a smile will hide everything. Like I am a naturally smiley person. If I'm not smiling, I look like a psychopath. And like, but it gets to the point where like my face is tired and stuff. But like, I most people that see it's like we talked about. You don't understand everyone else's demons. You don't know what's going on inside. Like most like people probably expect that I have some level of anxiety, but depression probably wouldn't be something that they would associate we'll say good time jar, like, you know, that kind of way. But it's the voices. It's the never ending thinking. It's why sleep is so bad. Like someone said, you just need to relax and switch off. And I'm like, oh, fuck off. Well, that'd be great. I'd love that. I think someone said to me recently was like, I'd love to take my brain out and give it a wash or a polish, you know, just to relax it. And I was like, I'd love to take it out and belt it with a hammer and get it to stop for a bit. Like a lobotomy might be a fucking vacation. You just like to not think. And that's where I go back to the sea. Like, you think about a few things, but it's nice stuff. It switches your brain off. You float. You're thinking about the floating, the way the waves are moving. Even I used to do a lot of ice baths for a while, and you get everyone going, "Oh, I bet you're going to talk to me about the benefits of ice baths and blah blah blah." And I was like, "Yes, there is one huge benefit."
Yeah.
And they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "If you get into an ice bath and the only thing you can't think about is your bits falling off, then it's not cold enough." I was like, it turns my brain off. It's why I love cold sea swimming. You're focusing on your breathing. Box breathing was a big one for me. Because you're focusing on holding your breath for, I think I built it up to at one point 12 seconds.
Yeah.
And like John, you're almost suffocating yourself, like, but it's just that click and that concentration. It keeps, you asked me to sit still for 5 minutes, and it's why I have rings. Like I fidget and I play with them. I don't have them on in the gym, but the gym quietens my brain.
Mm.
Gym quietens down my brain.
Like, it was always funny, like when I was playing football and stuff like that, and we would go for swims after training and stuff like that, and all the lads are like, yeah, yeah, let's do this for recovery, and stuff like that. And like, I'm not gonna sit there and be like, well, actually, the scientific research tells you that it doesn't actually benefit whatever. I'm just like, yeah, I'll get in because actually I feel good after I get in, and it's like, if that is the only benefit that, like, do you know what I mean? I have relief in terms of my thoughts or just how I feel. Like, even if it is, do you know what I mean? If it makes you feel good, it doesn't really matter whether the benefits are legit or not legit.
It's the same with exercise, even a walk. Like I know like most people think exercise when we're talking it's like in the gym. And like there'd be days there or a couple of days where work might take over, something gets on, and like yeah, I might sit there and I'll be like, I don't have time to do this, or you know, fuck it, I'll do it tomorrow or something like that. And go out for a little walk, and within 10 minutes of being out there, it's always funny that it still hits me and just goes, well, this is great. I feel so much fucking better because I've gone outside and moved a little bit. And it's like we talk like Joe, that people don't think coaches have this stuff going on. It's you get swamped with work, like you and your launch and stuff. Couldn't imagine how many feckin' hours you're doing that. And like
Yeah.
we do get carried away with work, and we're trying to do this, do that. Something else pops up, and you're like, oh, like I think I said to a client when I was designing a workout for them, they were like, "This is awful," and I was like, "Do you imagine what I do to myself?"
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have to drag myself in there. And I'm like, it is that idea. Is like exercise, a swim, a walk, whatever it is, it's going to do nothing but help. And for someone that's brain doesn't turn off, people don't realize that it's the thing that's going to help you.
Yeah, like I relate to that so much because like I've felt like absolute shit over the last couple of days, like absolute shit, and like I don't stop and think to myself, well, why do I fucking feel like shit? And I feel like shit because I've been literally on the computer, on the phone, signing people up. I've been just on screens all day, and if I'm not on screens, I'm getting down to the gym to then make sure that people are fucking, getting their consultations or whatever are done, and then I'm going home and then I'm, just eating and going straight to bed, and I'm like, oh, why do I feel so terrible at the moment? It's like I haven't done any of the things that I would usually do that make me feel good. Like, like I love going out for a hike, like I love being in nature and fresh air and just kind of having that phone switched off and just like having them couple of hours for yourself. I can't remember the last time I've done that. You know what I mean? And it's of all the things that we preach, it's like it's so easy for life to just get busy, and then you neglect the small things that end up becoming the big things until you do something crazy.
it's what, like, you definitely said this to clients. I always say to people, like, you need to start being, and it's something we need to learn that still, you need to be selfish.
Mm,
And it's not, it's like people get the wrong idea that it's like, oh, me. And it's like, but I'm not going to be good to be around.
mm.
And I'm not going to want to talk to you, or I won't have a good time unless I actually put myself first. And like, there are those days where you don't have to, it's going to happen. You know, you run your own business, different stuff like that. You don't get time to go do it, but
Yeah,
it's, it's as we'd say to someone, 10 minutes.
yeah. But do you find do you find with ADHD that that's even more difficult? It's like because I would imagine if you have ADHD, you're constantly looking at the next project or the next thing to take on, or and like I spoke about, like a lot of people who I know who have ADHD are very kind of high performers. So like they've probably a lot of ambition, but with that, there's probably a cost.
There, and hours slip away. Like if you hyper focus on, like, I think I was looking for a grant thing last year.
Hmm.
I spent 2.5 weeks basically locked in a room, any hours outside of coaching clients, and people were worried about me. And I remember talking to one of the lads, and he was like, "What have you done today?" And I was like, "Well, I've spent a total of 6 hours researching sewage treatment systems, and I know everything there is to know about them." I was like, "Great," and I was like, but then I walked out of the room at the end of that 6 hours, and I was like, I feel like absolute dog shit. Like, I have the event coming on. I was talking to my website guy the other day, and we're trying to automate a couple of different things. And he was like, "This is going to give you. It's not going to give you less work, but it'll give you more time to put into other work."
Hmm.
And then I gave him an idea of something I want to do, and I could see it on his face. He was like, "Oh, sweet Jesus, it's. I know the to-do list never ends, but you're really trying to."
Yeah, you're adding on to it.
Murder,
Yeah,
murder yourself with it.
yeah,
Like,
hundred
it's
percent.
a huge ambition. Like, fuck man, I have a kids book I've been writing for years.
Mm.
I can't remember the last time I ever did anything on it, but I'd love to do it. But I'm like, then I'm in my head, I'm like, if I get trapped doing that, I won't do this.
Yeah.
And if I start doing that, you never fully finish a project.
Yeah, yeah. You've 10 things. But I suppose if it could be a case though, like if you've started 10 projects and you finished one, but that one is successful, I mean, it's still probably more than most people do because most people never start. But I presume if you're ADHD, you start everything.
You start out. My dad would often say it. He was like, you could have 15 projects to do, and he was like, and you'll get them done eventually, and they'll be done well, but you'll never get them done one after another. And I'm like, oh no,
No, no,
no, not a chance.
no.
Not a chance. I have so many projects and different things I have to do, and it's,
That's too straightforward going from A to B.
yeah, like I like, you get those coaches that always say, like, we all have the same 24 hours in a day, and then we're talking about like parents with kids and, different job and stuff like that. Like, I've often said, like, to parents, I'm like, how the fuck do you do it?
Mm.
How do you do it? I was like, I barely sleep, and I don't have a kid. I don't have to mind someone else. I'm like, I don't have enough hours in the day to do anything.
Do you think with ADHD it makes it hard to run a business because it's like one day you could be like, okay, I'm building this thing, and like with business, like it's like, okay, do something for long enough and repeat the same actions and behaviors, like put the reps in time. You don't need the next shiny thing. You just need to continue to do the reps more and more and more, and you get more efficient at them and you get better at them. Whereas like that's quite uh repetitive for lack of
Yeah.
a better word, and it's like sometimes it's like, all right, well, let me get a fucking flight to Colombia. Do you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
a bit of spontaneity. I think we're lucky in what we do, that
There's
even though it's a
variety.
lot of repetition, it's still a little different. There's
Yeah,
always some little difference in it.
yeah.
Um,
Like the event, like you
like,
might be training people in a group training facility, but you're also putting on this kind of event and bringing people in from across the world and
exactly.
moving different pieces.
I do find with the ADHD, we talk about the imposter syndrome, or for me, the inner troll, Frank. Um, Feeling you're good enough at doing something, or what you're doing has value. Like, I remember the first time, you asked me to do a podcast, and I was like, what the fuck am I going to talk about?
Mm.
And then I think you asked me to do a webinar with your clients, and I think we did something else, and then maybe what 2 years ago we did um, another in-person podcast, and then was it end of last summer came up to talk to your clients,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember saying to you, I was like, Carl, like, what do you want me to talk about? Like what am I going to tell these people? And he's like, tell them your story and stuff. And I was like, oh, right, yeah. Cool. And I remember planning it out in my head. And I think just, I will say from like doing things with you over and back, chatting and different stuff, and other people as well. But like, I'll always a big hands up for you. That like more confidence in doing that stuff that for that talk, I was like, do you know what? Fuck it, I'll go for it. I'll go full for leather. I'll tell people things I've never told other people. And the night before, I went for one pint with a couple of the lads. There was one guy home from Oz, and they knew I had that talk on with you last year. And one of them was like, "What are you going to talk about?" And I was like, "I'm going to tell him everything." And one of the lads was like, what do you mean everything?" And I was like, "Everything, everything." And then my mate leans in and he was like all of it. And I was like, "Yeah, 28 years of demons, we're gonna lay it all out on the table, full feckin' honesty." And he was like all the stories we know. And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Do you think that's a good idea?" And I was like, "Well, they're not my clients, so it'd be great." I was like,
So
"Some
fuck up, whatever
fuck
happens,
them, it'll be
happens.
fine." But like, it's the idea that something will something will resonate with someone. Like even your event there a couple of weeks ago. I think I was listening to Paddy Kelly talk about stuff, and I was just like, and then someone else, and it's we're all working through stuff.
Yeah.
Even like I remember you for your talk last year when you told me Kelly Fennell was going to be on, and I was like, well, fuck you, Carl. I'm already nervous, and I was like, this you're going to put me with, and then I've recently even looked back at the videos that we recorded of it, and like I still laugh back to like I think like one moment where I'm pretending to be Gollum secret eating out of a fridge, and I've actually crouched down, and I'm like, oh my god, I blacked out for that part. Like I was like, how did I do this? But like it's funny that it's in our head with that whole imposter syndrome. Like your event 2 weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
after it, a couple of people came up to me, but someone said to me, they're like, I want to talk to you about like the public speaking. And I was like, oh yeah. And they were like, how do you stay so relaxed? And I was like, oh, I'm not. And they just made a face. And I was like, I'm an absolute ball of anxiety. Thought I was speaking too fast. Thought I was sweaty. I was like, no, I was like horribly uncomfortable all the time. But it doesn't come across that way. And I was like, well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't feel that way. But you do. I know everyone does get in their own way a little bit. I think the late diagnosis for people is a big thing with ADHD. Like you have so many voices in your head,
Mm.
so many voices, and you are your worst enemy. Like you stop yourself from doing things. Like there's things there's things I need to be doing for work, and for some reason I'm like, oh, maybe let's not record that today. Like my big thing of late is I'm trying to record myself talking at camera.
Mm-hmm.
And I said this to a mate, and he was like, "But you love this stuff." I was like, "No, I fucking don't. I don't like it. Like I was anxious before doing this with you." And I was like, we've done this before. It was like, it should be fine. And my friend was like, man, you put on a pink dress and a wig to do a video. And I was like, yeah, yeah. And for some reason that doesn't make me uncomfortable. And I was like, that's fine. But like the straight talking, looking directly at camera, no voiceovers, no trying to have like a cheap laugh. You get them in here and there. I'm like, you're just putting you out there.
And that's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's,
I think whether you're talking about like body image struggles, whether you're talking about substance abuse, whether you're talking about relationship with food, whether you're talking about, just it's just shame and judgment, and people are terrified that people are gonna find out who they really are.
yeah.
And the biggest person who's terrified about that is, or the only one who's creating judgment around that is yourself. and that's true for everyone. And it's like, you know, when you came up and you talked and you spoke about all the things that you were struggling with, like that's a big huge deal for you because you're laying it all out on the line. But the people listening are just sitting there and saying, "Oh yeah, that's relatable. I understand that. Oh yeah, like I feel the same way about X or Y or Z." And it's like our deepest insecurities or our deepest fears or the things that we feel most shame about,
Yeah.
like it's 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 only us who actually really feel that, and it's never really as bad as it seems, but it
Like,
feels like that to us.
like that talk last year with your clients in the last summer. Like I can understand when my friends were making faces beforehand, going, "You're not really going to fucking tell them all this." Like I think I was talking about waking up randomly in a field with nothing on but one welly, and we all know why that's happening. You
Hmm.
know, it's but like it was stupidly freeing.
Yeah.
So like I remember driving home after that and like such a weight was lifted off my shoulders. And like as we said, like Joe, I'm gonna tell people stories that I probably wouldn't tell some people close to me or like family wouldn't know about.
Hmm.
And like we're like, well, they're not my clients, fuck them. But it's like, but then people are talking to you afterwards. I don't know how many of your clients I sat down with afterwards, and I'm like, all right, well, this is actually helping people. Exactly. Like, you know, yeah, I might make a laugh and joke about the darkness of 28 years plus of demons and stuff like that. But like being vocal about that stuff, talking to people about it does help people. Like I've had chats with people over the years, people dealing with different stuff, and I always find it strange when I'm talking to someone about certain things, and I'm like, why are you talking to me about it? And I remember one person was like, "Well, you have your shit together," and I was like, "Well, I most certainly don't, but I'm glad you think so." And I'm like, "That's great." So, but it is we don't talk about all this stuff. Like someone told me not to tell people about substance use or therapy or different stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, I'm still nervous about maybe more the substance side talking about that than the therapy because I'm like, Christ, it's fucking once again it's freeing.
Mm.
It's freeing. Like I look forward to therapy every fucking week, man. It's so nice. I'm lucky now with the therapist I have now. Like it's great, but like it's tough. It's very, very tough. But like talking about stuff, like my own friends would say, I'm like, if you got shit going on, talk to us about it.
Hmm.
I don't like doing it mostly because I'm like, if you don't get to see like some people I know for like 23 plus years, you don't get to see them too often. I don't want to be like, right, let me
Yeah.
unload this dump truck full of shit so we can sift through this for a while, maybe not be sad, and then try to have a bit of a night. I'm like, I don't always want to do it, but then they know.
Yeah.
And like, we should be talking about everything.
Yeah, there's a great quote, and I was just popping it up there as well. If you don't talk about your shame, it grows. If you share it, it dies.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing. Is I think when you think about eating disorders, when you think about body dysmorphia, when you think about substance abuse, when you think about just your behavior in the past or whatever it is, it's like when you try to hide it, it just makes it grow and it's more difficult. And it's like when you just share it and let it all out in the open and allow yourself to be vulnerable, like you essentially conquer it, and it makes it that little bit easier. And I think it's the same with the body image issues as well. It's like, all right, if you don't want to take your top off at the beach, but the minute you do, it's freeing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the idea of like talking about it kills that shame. If you don't talk about it with someone, doesn't
Hmm.
matter if you pay them to listen to you or you know it's an old friend or some random person you meet in a fucking smoking area because it's easy to just unload and then walk away.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You're on your own.
yeah.
You are alone dealing with, and when I talk about Frank. I probably have 100 francs at this point up there, but like that inner troll up there talking. If you're the only person that knows what's going on, if it's only you sitting at home talking, you are on your own then, and everyone that you know around you wants to listen.
Hmm.
They want to.
Well, it's always why when you talk about the things that scare you the most, or you're being at your most vulnerable, it always gets the best feedback off people because it ends up becoming relatable. It's like there's substance there, there's a story there, there's a story that I can relate to versus like me trying to curate this perfect image of myself.
Yeah, like I suppose with the social media side of it and stuff, trying to be that bit more open with things and show that vulnerable side and honesty, just pure honesty.
Yeah.
It's it's quite enjoyable now to see when I will post certain things and the private messages you get from people.
Hmm.
Like talking about, I think it was last time, talk about my eating disorder and about wanting the fat loss phase and how I want it, but I won't do it at the expense of my mental health. And like even the last 2 weeks working around it, I'm noticing old habits that will creep back in, the way we'll do certain things, the way we'll talk about certain stuff. Um, I had one I had one little voiceover there and I actually love it. I don't care how many people see it, I don't care how many likes it gets. It's from Doctor Who. And it's some guy's like, he's like, who's that? And he just goes like, nobody important. And your man is like, nobody important. And Joe, in all my years of travel, I've never met anyone who's not important before.
That's quality.
And I fucking love it. I
Yeah, it's
love
quality.
listening to it. And it's like, it is making that content is for me. I hope it helps one person, but like it's that honestly, we need to be nicer to ourselves. We can like give ourselves a kick up the hole at the same time, but it's the way you do it.
Hmm.
It's the way you kick yourself up the hole. And I have fallen into that trap. I even dealt with it with a client only a couple of weeks ago. Men quite a lot. We hold we hold it all in. We don't want to burden other people with what's going on with our brain. But one, it's freeing to do it, and the level of respect and support you will get from some of your closest people by doing it
Hmm.
also shows them that they can do it with you. Because we all want to talk about stuff. It's terrifying, but we need it. Absolutely need it. Need to get out of our own head, because if you stay on your own being the only one dealing with it, it's never going to work.
And I think, especially if you're going to talk about it with your male mates, I think a good point to make, because I see this a lot with my own friends, is don't wait till you're blackout drunk to talk about the things that you need to talk about. Because I've noticed that with friends, it's like they'll bring up the same conversations over and over again, but only after they've hit a certain thresh point in terms of how much alcohol they've drank. And it's like you are struggling with something, or you have something to say, but you're only comfortable to say it, or you're only uh, vulnerable enough to say it after you've got absolutely twisted drunk to say it. And that's a problem.
It's not going to help then anyway.
Yeah.
My best chats have been sober Zoom calls in the morning.
Hmm.
That's like, yes, we can get the Dutch courage to start talking, but like, and even like I've had it on nights out where you've had a few drinks and someone will like, you might be on your own at one point with them and they'll ask, how are you, John? You want to talk about something? And I'm like, yeah, I kind of do, but like, let's go for a coffee, or, let's meet up or do a video call and do it then, because I was like, it's not going to be beneficial right now.
No.
It's not. It's gonna, like, especially because drink is a depressant. Don't get me wrong. If you see me drinking at night, I'm generally having a great time. Big smiles and everything like that. But once you start getting into the nitty gritty of what's going on in your noggin, it flips.
Yeah.
It's no longer a fun night out.
Yeah.
It's
And I don't think I don't, because I've had it as well. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with you and a friend having like a drunk heart to heart or anything like that. Like, they're normal. They're normal. But if it's the only time you're gonna share what you're struggling with, and you're not gonna then deal with it then the next day, I think that becomes a problem then.
well, that like it is.
Yeah.
So like you shouldn't have to get to a level drunk, feel safe to talk to people.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's the big thing there. Like it's like I talk about therapy, and like I do openly talk to people about it.
Mhm.
And like I have been talking to people about substance stuff of late, and uh, not that I'm like everyone should get into therapy, but I'm like, yeah, if you have stuff to talk about, like yes, the whole financial side of it is another thing, but like I said it already, I do thoroughly enjoy going to, like, there's times now, like I went to, like, what day is I went yesterday. I normally go on a Friday when I have less face-to-face clients, so I'm just not like wiped out by it. um Yesterday was going to be a big one. I knew it when I was going in there, and like myself and my therapist will often, like, she'll be like, I don't want to be mean. I'm like, ah, fuck it, come on, throw it at me, go on, it's the truth, this is the stuff we need. And like Joey, she'd be like, "Ah, it just feels a little bit tough." I'm like, this is what we want. This is what we want. We need to get into the nitty gritty of it. And like, even though it feels heavy throughout bits of it, you just get to that point, just like doing a gym session. It's not how fucking tough and hard it is during the session. It's
Yeah.
that moment at the end. It's
Do
that
you have
light.
do you have any advice? Because obviously you recently went through a breakup. Do you have any advice for men going through? Did that help with therapy? Did therapy help with that?
Yeah, wait, helping.
Helping.
It's
Yeah.
helping. That's an ongoing process. Like I think, was it back 2017 when I was on, like, towards the end or half in the middle of the eating disorder and stuff, and I went down the whole substance abuse side. That was off the back of a breakup, and I remember going in. I think it was just before the end of 2017, just before Christmas, and I met this therapist, and she was like, "Well, I won't meet you till you're sober." And I was like, "All right, yeah." And she was like, "So end of January we'll have our first meeting. We'll see how it goes." And I got my month. I got my month sober, and when I went in for the first session, um, I remember her saying, and I still have it in my head to this day, that she was like, "I didn't actually think you'd do it." And it stuck with me now that I'm like, I was obviously going through an awful time. And not only would you not help me when I was using things to stop the awful time, you then basically threw dirt on the fact that I did a month sobriety to try to actually help myself. And we're like, "Oh, I didn't think you could do it." I'm like, you don't need to know that. Don't need to know that. And like, now that therapy was good and bad. It wasn't great. I probably kind of like this with other exes and stuff. Probably should have been a red flag right there and then that day, that I should have been like, well, this isn't gonna fucking help me.
Yeah.
You know,
This isn't gonna work.
this isn't gonna help. And it's like my stuff with all that, it's an ongoing process.
Hmm.
Like there was things I was working through last year that I want to get back to.
Yeah.
That's the stuff I want to get into, because that's the stuff that comes from childhood,
Hmm.
growing up, which is impacting stuff now.
Like
That's
relationships.
relationships, my own self-worth,
Yeah.
all of that stuff. Like, that's coming from then. That's what I want to get back to. I think I described it to my therapist one day as like Shawshank Redemption, where they're carving out the wall with the spoon. I was like, I think I barely got the plaster off the wall.
Yeah.
But I would suggest for everyone, like, if you can confide in a friend for now and have a tit for tat DMCs, do that. If you can get yourself into therapy, 100% do it. It'll take time. I got lucky now with the one I found.
Do you think that people fall into the trap of, all right, so like let's say a relationship ends and then you're gonna go and work on yourself by, working with a therapist and doing all the other stuff and kind of dealing with childhood stuff and but do you think that there's also kind of a danger of people then trying to wait until they are the
Ready?
finished product before then kind of getting back out there and dating again and like the I can't I can't get into another relationship until I deal with all my issues.
Yeah, that'll happen. I suppose they talk about like you don't have to be fully healed
Mm.
to try to do anything. Just like we'll say with people, like you'll hear from people going to the gym and stuff. Once I get that little bit fitter, I'll then start a gym.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
When
that's
it's like,
exactly
well,
it.
it's not really going to work that way. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm in between on that now.
Yeah, yeah,
I am in between. I didn't think I'd be talking about this today. Fuck. So yeah, I am in between on it. I I want to move forward and I don't want to move forward.
yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
in a 50-50 limbo on it, and like I know you understand.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know
Because
you.
I only asked that question because that's literally the thing that I realized maybe a couple of months or maybe even a year ago, but I still tend to do it. It's like, okay, the last relationship that I was in, it didn't work, and now I'm gonna make sure that before I get into another relationship, that I have my finances in order, I have my emotional intelligence in order. I really understand what it takes to make a relationship work before getting in one, and like the next person that I get with is going to be the person. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't want to waste time, being in like relationships that I know that are not going to go anywhere. Whereas before I would do that, you know what I mean? Before I would get into relationships knowing that I'm not going to spend the rest of my life with this person, but just
Yeah,
getting into the relationship anyway. And now I think I've gone so far the other way of being like, well, like isolating yourself so much that you're not even going to willing to give anyone a chance because you're looking for that. It's the like I'll be happy when, or kind of thing, or not even I'll be happy when. It's like once everything's perfect conditions, I'm perfect. Perfectionist mindset,
perfection,
probably. Yeah.
perfection. Like, and I'll put it this way: I won't. I'm not in a position where it's when I'm fully healed,
Mm.
I'll go looking for it. It's I'm most certainly not ready for it.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it's not only unfair to me, it's unfair to the other person
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not out of that yet. Like I think we like with like it was heavy. It's still heavy, and like if we're going to be honest, I hope she's not watching. It's still gonna be fucking. It's still heavy, and like talking about my therapist, I was like, didn't spiral fully to the point that I think I joked with someone yesterday about going off the rails. That I'm afraid that if I went off the rails, I might destroy the world. That's
Like the
that kind of
Joker.
thing. And I'm like, Joe, I was like, I think after the first night out, people were like, "Fuck that, go back to doing things you've been doing now for the last." While." But I, for me, I need time to figure out more about myself, more about my self-worth, improving the work I've done already with body image, food relationship, how I run my business, more time with my friends, the balance, that work-life balance that we often tell people to do that we generally don't fucking have.
Yeah.
We don't like, and it's uh, I'm not hiding from it because I don't want it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want it's not a healing thing. I've done a lot of work.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of work. I've noticed a lot of triggers, a lot of things. Like my people pleasing would always be a big thing.
Yeah.
That's my big thing. So I don't think someone doesn't deserve to have me in the space I'm in right now.
Mm. Do you think? Do you think when you go through a breakup that it makes you? Because I think a lot of people do this where they almost neglect their friendships to a point where it's like, oh, my friendships are always there, so I don't really need to make an effort. I can make an effort. I have to make an effort with my romantic partner. I have to make an
Yeah.
effort with my coworkers or my business partner or my clients or whatever. I don't have to make an effort with my friends because my friends are always there. And then you go through like a breakup and you realize how much you actually need that. Like that is the thing that kind of keeps you okay. It's like you need that company, you need friendships. And I see this a lot when people get into a relationship and they just kind of
Disappear.
blankets. They just disappear. They just disappear. And they put all their relationships into that one relationship. Like they lean on their romantic partner to be their romantic partner, their fucking friend, their confidant, their community, their everything. And it's like you're putting all this pressure on this one person to be that one thing. And then if you break up, then it's like, everything that I have was in that one person, and therefore
Yeah.
it's
Well,
very hard to move on.
stop holding up a mirror, Carl. For fuck's sake, like, yeah. I had over the last like 2 years, maybe before Christmas, I had a few people like saying to me like, you're not as available anymore and different stuff. And I said now there's a bit of both to it. It wasn't just a relationship thing. It was I'm self-employed. I'm trying to grow a business. Um, Even though we need to be like honest and show up as we are, you still also can't have people walking into a gym being a miserable cunt. Like you have to have that little like, I'm here to brighten up your day, and I can deal with my stuff and in an hour's time it'll be fine. By the time you get 5, 6 days done of it, you're a bit tired. Like I had said to my ex at different times, like, I'd go off for a swim or I'd be going doing something else, and someone would see it on my story. I'm like, oh, why didn't you tell me? I would have gone. And I'm like, I want to go on my own. I want to go on my own, or I want to go with someone else. But I was like, I want to do my schedule. I want to like, decide what time I'm arriving there, what time I'm stopping for lunch. If I want to hang around long, I always find for me it's the swimming one, like especially around like winter swimming. I'll get into the water and it'll be a big deal of going with loads of people, and everyone then wants to get out. And I kind of said, I'm like, I'd like to fucking stay here longer, like, and I'm like, but I have to get out and, yeah, be sociable, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's a mix of both work. I put a lot of effort into work. I was trying to build, I'm trying to build something here. Like, so we do forget about those people. And a big reminder of it for me was back in May. I had a mate who was going to be home from Oz for a couple of weeks, and like we knew for months. And it has so happened he was only going to get 1 day in Limerick. So I organised, I don't know what, 17 plus people to meet us in the pub in town. I had his sister, his fiance, his parents all lying to him. Everyone that was going lying to him that they wouldn't be there. And he thought he was going for 2 pints, a bit of food, watch a bit of rugby, get a taxi home at 7 o'clock, and his parents would grab him. And now he was wrecked from work traveling, and he probably needed just that night. But he walks into the pub, all these people there, and like the look on his face, also just gathering all these people we know from mixed groups and different stuff. It was just so nice. And I remember being in another pub later on in the evening, and I did a post on it, and I just have it's literally just a span view of everyone sitting there having chats. The big surprise cheer when he walked into the pub at the start, and I remember looking at that video, and before I even posted, I was like, it's the whole this is the whole point, that trend there.
Yeah.
And like it is like it's fucking like even my mates the weekend they were like, are you all right minding the 4-year-old running out, like she asked me to play games and I was like, I'm not going to tell a 4-year-old no. And I was like, it's you're a child. I was like, I'm going to get to know them over the years, and she's going to be my taxi home in 14 years. So like, that's the other side of it. But it was a great reminder of how not alone I am.
Mm.
And I know some of those people for 23 plus years,
Mhm.
more than half my life already. And and they are the ones that give out to you for not talking about stuff.
Mhm.
They're
Mhm.
the ones I want you to talk to me about it. I'm like, all right, yeah, well, we'll set up a Zoom call and we'll share our feelings. And I was like, we don't do it, but we do like, we do neglect people getting into a relationship. And then you have that end of a relationship where you're reminded that like, well, I kind of fucking forgot about all of ye. But then you have the other side of it, like that's what led to my eating disorder was an ex. Years ago, I went revenge buddy,
Yeah.
and like leaned myself out as much as possible. Everyone was like, "Oh wow, look at John, look what you're doing," and I was like, ruined myself.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a really good point as well. Because if we're having this conversation about like, how can people get over a breakup, or how can they survive, or just get through the day. It's like there's many different ways that you can go through a breakup. Like you can go for the revenge body where you're putting yourself through torture. You can sleep your way through it. With people who will not make you feel better after you've done that. I've been guilty of that one. Like you can fucking drink your feelings away. You can sniff your feelings away. You can eat your feelings away. You can do all them things, and it's like, I think the best advice that I could give to people in regards to that is literally what you said about, like, this is the whole point. It's like reminding yourself that, like, you probably have a lot of really good friends that you probably haven't, um, made time for, or it's difficult to make time for, because you're right, people have jobs or building
No.
stuff, and you only have so much time in the day to give to people as well. But I think when you realize how important some people are to you, like surviving that period of time, like it should make you appreciate that. I should be I should be giving more of my time to this rather than maybe all them other things. If you want to go get in shape, if it makes you feel better,
Yeah.
like if you're spending more time in the gym, there's not going to be anything wrong with that. Trying to get as lean as possible so you can prove that you are worthy of love or worthy of attention from strangers on the internet, probably not going to be the thing that fixes you.
And doing things on your own. Like I've gone for a few hikes on my own, a few swims on my own. I went for dinner on my own.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one. Most
Like,
people can't do that.
man,
I'm able to do that now, where like I'll go for lunch by myself and I don't even think
yeah.
about it anymore.
I like that one. I'm like, it's still interesting. Like, like I went down to the local pub, I don't know, whatever evening. I was like, I bring my laptop, finish the last like 20 minutes of work. So I can have a pint, I'll order dinner, and someone did ask me, they're like, is someone joining you? I'm like,
Yeah, that's the
no,
worst.
no,
Just me.
it's not
Just
just me. I'm
just
on my own. And then like the waitress just
the
turned.
the look of the look of pity on her face.
The waitress just turned around then, saw there was rugby on TV, and she was like, "You're just having a little date with yourself." I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, "I am, yeah, I am, yeah." And I was like, I'm gonna buy myself a drink. That's what I'm going to do." I was like, and I talking me wrong, you get those moments over and back where you're like, "Oh fuck." Like,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna
You
say
walk you walk in. It's like, oh, a table for two, just for one, just for one. Like,
just for
okay, it's okay.
and I want the nice table in front of the TV in the middle of everyone. I don't care who else is coming in.
I'm gonna
But
wear
like,
a,
yeah,
I'm gonna wear a suit. I'm gonna wear a suit next time.
like I will say, like, nowhere fucking near having it all figured out.
Yeah,
Nowhere near it. Like, I'm still in the depths of all of it, absolutely all of it. But I look at it this way: I go for drinks to have fun with friends. I don't go to get fucked up.
yeah, yeah,
I'm eating food because, well, there was a period there at the start I wasn't really eating,
yeah.
and I was like, no, well, I need to eat. I need to eat. Like, I need to eat to keep going. Um, as my therapist said, she was like, John, did the event with you, have my own event coming up, go and doing another event in Leeds for Sophia Harris, and then kept the business going, grew the business, didn't fall down, didn't fall into that black hole of substance stuff. Didn't like, yes, lost myself in certain ways, but I'm like, we joked about going off the rails. I'm like, I know a few people were worried about me going off the rails.
Mm,
They were worried, and like, to be honest, I kind of was as well. And like, I did joke about it, that I'm like, I don't think the world could handle me going off the rails, and I'm like, that's quite fucking nice to be in a position where I'm like, I don't want it.
yeah, Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't want it because I know it's not going to do anything.
Yeah, yeah, and I think for if people are in that situation and they do go off the rails a little bit, I think sometimes it is necessary.
Eh,
Sometimes you sometimes being destructive to yourself is part of that process, part of that healing process. To then kind of being like,
And
well, that didn't fix me.
everyone looks at it differently. Like if you saw me on a stag there in March, a couple of people were like, "Geez, he's really trying to kill himself off." And I was like, I had a fantastic night. I drank what I could handle and more, and I
Yeah,
had a burger at the end of the night and just passed out because I had to go to sleep. But
yeah.
like, it's all different for everyone.
I think that goes back to what we even talked about even at the very start. It's like it's the perception around the behavior that matters most. It's your mindset around the behavior. I think what's gonna ultimately dictate whether it's like dangerous or disordered or toxic or not.
Yeah, and when it comes to drinking, like I have a good tolerance. Obviously, I have my other party side history, so it doesn't hit me. It doesn't hit me as hard, but I do get that giddy and stuff like that. But like even the weekend, like my mate had to host family the next day, and he was like, "Jesus," he was like, "This was meant to be a casual night," and we left the pub at like 1:45 with the doors locked, and I was just like, "Well, man, do you know what? It was just so nice at one point, just looking at all of you."
Hmm.
Sitting there, standing there, listening to them talk, and like like it is a big difference now. Like there was a 4-year-old and an 8-month-old with us, at the start of the night, and like things are changing, but it is that kind of thing. It's like yes, the drinks were there, um, but it was the company
It wasn't about the drinks. Yeah, the drinks were just part of it, but it was yeah,
that's part of it.
yeah,
Like and that's the thing is it's you'll know if it's doing damage
hmm,
or if it's helping.
yeah,
And everyone will view it. Most people would view the drinks and the food at the weekend as, all right, you're going off the fucking deep end. I'm like, no, you don't know what the deep end is.
yeah.
We have a very different view of what the deep end is.
Yeah, yeah. Jared, let's wrap this up. All right, we've talked about body image, we've talked about disordered eating, we've talked about ADHD, we've talked about breakups, we've talked about a couple of things. What can people expect to learn at your event in Limerick in September? Actually, tell them the date, tell them where it is, and what they
It's
expect to get at this event.
it's Saturday, September 27th.
Yeah.
It's on in the Tree House in the Woodlands in Limerick. Um, we talked earlier about the bubble, that community that we're like building up of coaches and stuff like that. It's for me, like, don't get me wrong. Every time I still look up the lineup, I'm like, fuck. I was like, this is brilliant. Like, but it's all the people I look up to in the industry. All the people that if you don't feel you belong inside in the gym, these are the people that are going to make you feel welcome. If you feel that you don't have the ability to lose weight, get stronger, anything, these are the people that will help you through it. We like the talks, like obviously it's a fitness event, wellness event, but it's not your like kale smoothie. Yeah, we'll have a big old sesh afterwards. I have an after party organized, but like it's like mental health side of it, nutrition. Like I know one person's gonna be like how to unfuck your relationship with food. It's not just gonna be people talking about calorie deficits and food is good and bad, and then we're gonna do like a breath work thing as a guided breath work as well. But like for me, it's even still only a small handful. Like, I know you thought I was getting carried away at one point. I could keep adding people to this. Like, I have to make it 2 days, but these are the people we need in the industry to make everyone feel welcome in it.
Yeah.
That everyone feels they deserve to take space in it, that they can learn stuff without the bullshit. And that's what I think you will learn. Some of them are at your talk. I'm still learning stuff from them. I'm excited to actually listen to what they're going to talk about, what you're going to talk about. And it's eh, no matter what level you're at, complete beginner, never been in there, or you think you're up at another level, you will learn something.
Yeah.
You will learn something, and we're going to have a laugh doing it.
All right. 27th of September, Limerick, the Treehouse.
Treehouse in the Woodlands.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
if anyone wants tickets or wants info on that, let me know, or I can direct you over to Ger. Ger, where can they find you on Instagram?
Lift and Laugh Fitness.
Lift and Laugh Fitness. All right. And we will have it all up on the show notes. We'll have Ger's Instagram on the show notes, and you can reach out to him for tickets. Ger, thank you very much, as always. It's a pleasure, my man.
Absolute pleasure.